Joseph's story continues, and now we dive into one of the darkest and most important moments of his journey. Get ready for a journey of faith and perseverance. Before we start, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so more people can discover Joseph's powerful story and be strengthened by God's word. Now, take a deep breath and come with me on this journey of faith and hope. Joseph was 17 years old when it all happened. He was Jacob's favorite son, born from the love between his father and Rachel, the woman Jacob worked 14 years for. That's why Joseph was treated with special affection. Jacob gave him a coat of many colors, a symbol of love and distinction. But that coat, full of beauty and meaning, sparked envy in his brothers' hearts. While Joseph saw it as a gift from his father, his brothers saw it as a provocation. Jacob's favoritism consumed them, and day after day, hatred grew in silence, ready to explode. One day, Joseph began to have strange dreams full of mystery and prophecy. He dreamed that they were binding sheaves in the field, and his sheaf stood up while his brothers' sheaves bowed down to his. When Joseph told them the dream, he had no idea what it would cause. His brothers were furious. "Do you really think you will reign over us?" they scoffed. But Joseph had another dream, even more intriguing. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. Time passed, and one day Jacob asked Joseph to go and check on his brothers, who were tending the flock. Obediently, Joseph set out to find them. He walked for hours until he found them in Dothan. When his brothers saw him approaching from afar, the hatred that had been growing for years overflowed. "Here comes the dreamer," they said to each other. And there they decided to get rid of him. The plan was cruel: kill him, throw his body into a pit, and tell their father that a wild animal had devoured him. But Reuben, the eldest brother, still had a spark of mercy. He suggested that they not kill him, just throw him alive into a pit, secretly planning to rescue him later. When Joseph approached, unaware of the danger, they surrounded him. They stripped him of his colorful coat and violently threw him into an empty, dark pit. The sound of the fall echoed against the stone walls. Joseph cried out, pleaded for help, but only heard laughter and silence. There in that pit, alone, he felt despair, fear, and betrayal. The dreams that once seemed like promises now seemed like cruel jokes. Joseph learned there that even God's plans can lead us through paths we don't understand. And it is in those moments that faith is tested, not by abundance, but by absence. While Reuben was away, the other brothers saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from afar, heading to Egypt. Then Judah had an idea. "What will we gain if we kill him? Let's sell him instead." And so, for 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was taken out of the pit and handed over to the merchants. Bound and confused, he looked back and saw the faces of his brothers, cold and without remorse. That was the beginning of a long journey. The young dreamer was now a slave, but God's purpose still beat within him, even when all seemed lost. The brothers then took Joseph's coat, stained it with goat's blood, and took it to their father. When Jacob saw the torn and bloody coat, he broke down in tears. He believed his beloved son had been devoured by a wild animal. His cries echoed through the house, and no one could comfort him. Meanwhile, Joseph was taken to Egypt, the heart of the greatest empire of that time, unaware that God was guiding his steps. Sometimes, the Lord's plans lead us through unfair paths, but it is there that he molds our character and prepares our hearts for the fulfillment of his promise. On the way, Joseph must have remembered his dreams. Perhaps he wondered, how can those dreams come true now? But God doesn't need logic to fulfill his promises. He transforms betrayal into opportunity, and the pit that seemed like the end was only the beginning. Every tear Joseph shed in that desert would be transformed into purpose. When he arrived in Egypt, he wouldn't just be a slave, he would become God's instrument to save a nation. And so ends the second episode of Joseph's story, a young man who, though betrayed by his brothers, was protected by God. The pit was not his prison, It was his starting point. God was writing a story that would change generations. And in the same way, when everything in your life seems dark and hopeless, remember this: the pit can be the beginning of your miracle. If this message touched your heart, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more people can discover that God transforms pain into purpose and tears into victory.